Press the bell icon to stay updated with all the videos from the Controlled Chaos. Hey, what's up guys? I'm Dev and welcome to the Controlled Chaos. Today we have a very interesting topic for you. So without any further ado, let's start the show.
Crime doesn't pay well. Well, I agree to disagree. Because crime pays well, and it does pay really well as long as your luck and intelligence are with you. Not that we think it's a smart career option, but there are people who have made a huge amount of money using their set of particular skills. And when I say skills, I mean being a fraud.
It might sound like we are praising these people, but knowing the fact that they either ended up in jail or on the hit list of Interpol changes the idea of inspiration completely. Of course, you enjoy the money, but as a fugitive. You can never go out like a normal human being or have a normal life without the fear of getting shot or arrested anytime. I think you get the point.
So without any further banters or introductory speeches, let's cut to the chase.
He is the leader of Indian organized crime syndicate known as D Company and is wanted by the Interpol for things like fraud, terrorism and criminal conspiracy. Though he was highly active during his time, he is somewhat semi-retired right now with his locations frequently traced to Karachi, Pakistan.
A fine example of his cunningness, finesse and intelligence would be something like this. Suppose an imported item of very high value arrives at the Bombay port, and let's assume the name of the consignment is NY456. Daud's men would change the consignment number to something that doesn't exist in the records, like NY123. He would then hide the consignment in the port itself. At the time of the delivery, the consignment number NY456 would be listed as lost in transit. The importer at this point would claim insurance, getting 100% refund of his money. Daud's men would now get in touch with the importer and offer him the consignment for half of the original price. And the importer obviously accepts because he's already got 100% refund of his money, and then he's getting the consignment of half of its price.
The importer gets his good for cheap and Daud gets half the money for doing nothing. And for the insurance company, it's a loss, but it's like a drop in the ocean, so it doesn't matter.
7.
Born in 1961, Abdul Khaliq LK is an Indian counterfeiter. His father was an employee in the Indian Railways and died while Abdul Khaliq LK was young. After having to pay for his own education at an English medium school by selling fruit and vegetables on trains, Abdul Khaliq LK eventually moved to Saudi Arabia, and 7 years later he came to India. And then he started a career in counterfeiting, especially focusing on fake passports.
Telgi was a master counterfeiter who hit the Ivy League of scam artists. He earned money by printing counterfeit stamp papers in India. He cited Sharad Pawar and then the chief of NCP party name in relation to a 200 billion rupees stamp paper scam. He would appoint 300 people under him as agents who would sell fakes to people who are buying stamp papers in bulk, like banks, insurance companies, share broking firms, etc. The size of the scam was estimated to be somewhere around $10 billion or 6,517 crore rupees.
To give you a little idea about how big this scam was, a police investigator at the time who wasn't making more than 9,000 rupees per month was found with a bank balance of 110 crores. But in the end, Telgi was caught in 2006 and he has been serving 2 life sentences of 30 and 13 years since then.
6.
Although no information about this person exists in the CBI database, people know him as Mohan Singh. Remember the movie Special 26, right? It was based on the Opera House incident and Akshay Kumar's character was based on Mohan Singh. So let's take it from the Opera House incident to how he did it.
On 19 March 1987, state's top cop Arvind Inamdar received an urgent phone call in the police headquarters, Mumbai. Something strange was going on in the Opera House where most of the city's jewelry shops were located. a CBI raid had been taken place at the Tribhuvan Das Bhimji Zaveri shop, which was the most famous jewellery shop at the locality. They would come in, put down the shutter, ask the staff and the customers to step aside, and then they would look at their registers, which is the standard procedure. Now this is where it gets really strange. Inamdar was told that the CBI team had taken off with a lot of jewellery, which was against the protocol, making it a strange event.
Even stranger thing was when Inamdar finally reached the spot with his team, the entire CBI team was still there, all but their leader, Mohan Singh. And it wasn't even a CBI team, they were just team members who thought that they were getting a job. Mohan had met them after placing a classified ad in the Times of India asking for dynamic graduates for intelligence officers post and security officers post. Applicants were told to come to Taj Intercontinental between 10 am and 5 pm for an interview. 26 were finally selected, some of whom were already working jobs. The next day, they were asked to report at 11 am in the morning, where Mohan handed them their fake IDs. An hour later, Singh got them boarded on a bus and took them for a trial raid.
They must have been really talented and experienced because it looked like an actual raid. Singh had then gone around the showcases picking up jewelleries as samples. They were placed in a poly bags and stapled with slips showing governmental seals. Now for the exit. Singh told the staff to wait while he checked out another shops in the locality. He then got in the bus, went back to the hotel, checked out and vanished, leaving no traces behind. A perfect crime.
5,
He was 32 at the time of the crime and he lived in Vanasthalipuram, Hyderabad. And Veeraswamy is known as the man who duped Flipkart. These types of things might not be new to these online marketing companies, just as there have been cases of customers getting bricks instead of phones, so too have sellers faced cases of fraud. And the e-commerce sites are willing to turn a blind eye right now. And Veeraswamy took an advantage of this fact.
Veeraswamy would book orders for expensive electronic items in the name of his wife, parents and others in the neighborhood. Once delivered, he would switch the original item with a fake one and give Flipkart a call asking for refund or replacement. He would then send back the fake item with the correct model number and item code. He would also create fake IDs and make bank payments from different accounts to avoid suspicion. By the time he was caught, Veera had already made around 200 purchases in 20 months worth around 20 lakhs.
4,
Sarthak Babras is known as the man who conned India's top hotels. For over 10 years, this man lived the life of such luxury that only some of us can dream of, that too without having to pay a single penny. The fixed 8-hour job was not his cup of tea, so when a close friend introduced him to the idea of conning hotels, he seriously gave it a thought, and well, he succeeded with flying colors. His game plan was pretty simple. He would find a 5-star hotel and give them a call under the name of a relative who is the ranked officer in the union government. Acting like the relative of Babras, he would then make the booking for Babras and tell the staff that he was out of town and would pay the bill before he checked out.
The next day he would confidently show up at the hotel, provide the reference of the phone call, show a fake PAN card as an ID proof. He would then live in the best of the suites, eating and drinking the best things available, crediting the bills in his relatives' names. Usually booking the place for 3 days, Babras would quietly vanish from the place after a couple of days, never to be seen again. Some of the famous known hotels were duped by this master con, such as Hotel Oberoi, Taj Bengal, Radisson, Hotel Moria Sheraton, Taj Hotel, Centaur Hotel, Hyatt Regency, etc. His days of glories came to an end when he was finally arrested in 2012.
3,
Ketan Parekh, also known as Bombay Bull, was a Mumbai-based stockbroker who was convicted in 2008 for Indian stock market manipulation scam throughout 1999 to 2001. He was also trained by the big bull Harshad Mehta, who himself was known for his wealth and numerous financial crimes. This guy not only managed to crash the Indian stock market but also single-handedly took a lot of money from a lot of people, bankrupting all of them. The CBI arrested him for defrauding Bank of India of $30 million and for causing the stock market to crash by 171 points. And the funny thing is, the arrest led Sensex to drop by another 147 points.
Two of his biggest scams may be known as the Nasdaq bull run and the CSE payment crisis. During his peak period, he used to drive 10 stocks which would later come to be known as K10 stocks and involved Global Telesystems, Z Telefilms, SFCL, Silverline System, Satyam Computers, Avtech, DSQ, Renbaxi, Pentamedia Graphics and Visualsoft. In July 1999, he held around 1.2 million shares in Global and he also controlled around 16% of Global's floating stock, 25% of Avtech Infosys, 15% in each Z and HFCL. The buoyant stock markets from January to July 1999 helped the K10 stocks to rise in value substantially. HFCL soared by 57% while Global increased by 200%. As a result, brokers and fund managers started investing in K10 stocks heavily and saw their net asset value soaring. By January 2000, K10 stocks regularly featured in the top 5 traded stocks in the exchange. HFCL's traded volume shot up from 80,000 to 1.47 million shares. Global's total traded value in the Sensex was 51.8 billion rupees. In March 2000, the crash, which led by a fall in Nasdaq, the K10 stocks fell by 67%, causing the market points to drop by 171 points.
The Calcutta Stock Exchange, or also known as the CSE payment crisis, was one of the biggest setbacks. Brokers at CSE used to buy shares at Parekh's behest. Though officially the scripts were in the broker's name, unofficially Parekh held all of them. He used to cover any losses that occurred due to price shortfall and paid a 2.5% weekly interest to the brokers. By February 2001, the scripts held by Ketan Parekh's broker at CSE were reduced to an estimated 7 billion rupees from their final worth of 12 billion rupees. The situation worsened as his badla payments of 6 billion rupees were not honored on time for the settlement and with about 70 CSE brokers. By mid-March, the value stocks held by CSE brokers went down further to around 3 billion rupees. The brokers started pressurizing Parekh for payments. He again turned to MMCB to get more loans. It is said that this time he was allowed to borrow money without any security deposits. Since his arrest in 2008, Parekh has been banned from doing anything in the share market. He has been banned from investing money. He has been banned from buying shares or selling shares from the stock market completely. But it is said that he is still operating his crime but with different aliases. So most probably he is just hiding behind a keyboard like most of you do.
Davinder Singh, also known as Bunty, was a 14-year-old thief who was known for his notoriety in Delhi. This class 9 dropout super thief began his career in burglary and duping after he was arrested in 1993 but managed to give the police a slip. Bunty is reported to have committed over 500 burglaries with impunity across the country. From Delhi to Bangalore, Chennai to Mumbai, almost all the big cities have been privy to his silken craft. He is a master escape artist, giving the police a slip in Delhi, Chennai and Chandigarh after being captured.
The one thing that helped Bunty pull off his audacious robberies was how he tamed dolls, making sure they hardly came in his way when he was doing his job. While Bunty was not very picky about what he stole, he did have a weakness for fancy cars, luxury watches, and was known to be a compulsive womanizer. Reportedly, after committing a heist in the house of a Kerala-based NRI businessman, he was caught red-handed because rather than escaping, he chose to watch television which was broadcasting a program on himself. Dibakar Banerjee's movie Oye Lucky Lucky Oye starring Abhay Deol was loosely based on Bunty Chore's life. Bunty also made an appearance as a contestant in the reality TV show Bigg Boss in its 4th season. If conning is a religion, then this guy is the god. Born in 1912 in Bangra village in Siwan district of Bihar, Mithilesh Kumar Srivastava, or popularly known as Natwarlal, was a professional lawyer who later became a con man and is probably the best of all of them. He was so good at his job that several movies and TV shows have been inspired from his character, and even all the conmen in India worship him. He was a master of disguise and an expert in forging signature. He was so good at this that he even tried to copy the signature of Dr. Rajendra Prasad. He had about 50 aliases. With his expertise in forging and signatures of Tata, Birla, Dhirubhai Ambani, he took a huge amount of money from them, usually posing as a social worker or someone in need. He also duped many shop owners, paying by check, and of course they were later found to be forged.
Besides that, he is really known because of the fact that he accomplished such huge feats in the art of cunning and duping that no one would ever dream of. Such as he sold the Taj Mahal 3 times,
The Lal Killa twice,
he also sold the Rashtrapati Bhavan,
and even the Parliament House of India.
along with the fucking 545 sitting members,
What the fuck?
to foreigners posing as a government official. Natwarlal was wanted in more than 100 cases and by 8 states police and was sentenced to 113 years in prison. However, he made daring escapes from different jails 9 times in his life. He was convicted for 14 cases of forgery and was sentenced to 113 years, but he hardly spent 20. The last time he was arrested was in 1996 and he was 84 at the time. But he managed to give the police a slip and was last seen by authorities on June 24, 1996, when the wheelchair-using man vanished while being transported from prison to hospital for treatment. He disappeared at New Delhi railway station when he was being taken to AIIMS under police escort from Kanpur jail for his treatment, after which he was never seen by anyone.
So this concludes today's video. Tell us what you think about this video in the comment section down below.
Also, leave a like and share this video with your friends. We'll see you in another segment of the Controlled Chaos. Till then, peace out! Don't forget to subscribe.